Howdy everyone, and welcome to the Tank and Spank Quick Hit Guide to Shadowmoon Burial Ground. Our goal with these guides is going to be to teach you the things you need to know to be successful in Mythic Plus. We're going to go through the most important kicks, stops, and boss abilities to get you through the dungeon.
Both the first pack and the first Void Spawn are great candidates for skips. The latter can be skipped by waiting for him to patrol to the opposite side you want to go. There is one additional Void Spawn that can be on either the left or right side. You should just go to the opposite side he is. In this area, Bone Menders cast Shadow Mend, which should be kicked. If you have a priest, they can mind control one of these mobs and use it to debuff other bosses and mobs with Frailty, which reduces their health by 50%. You can do this at least until it's hotfixed.
The first boss is Sadona Bloodfury. Tank the boss near the outside of the ring and avoid daggers that fall from the sky. She summons an ad that runs toward her. Stun and slow the ad and kill it. Her only other ability is called Dark Eclipse. Make sure you stand on one of the white runes on the ground before the cast completes. The next set of trash are called Shadowmoon Dominators. If you never kick the initial Dominate cast, it actually does nothing, but once you kick the first one, you need to kick all subsequent casts of Dominate. The Shadowmoon Enslavers will summon Exhumed Spirits. You have to kick the Death Blast, or they will one-shot a random party member. Half of this mob's HP is actually a shield that you can purge or spell steal.
Now you are on to the second boss, Nihallish. He has a frontal cone on the tank that can be spell reflected for massive damage. He also teleports to a random party member and puts a void zone on the ground that you need to move out of. His main mechanic is called Soul Shred. Your soul is shattered from your body and you need to kill it before he finishes the channel. When the soul dies, it drops an orb on the ground. Pick it up and get a 40% damage buff. The next packs are a combination of Exhumers and Dominators. The most important interrupt is still the Death Blast from the Exhumed Spirits. If you skipped trash in the first area, you'll need to pull extra here. The next packs are a bunch of spiders and bats. You need to kick the Necrotic Burst from the monstrous corpse spiders. It does big damage and reduces your healing received by 25%.
You then come to the bridge before the third boss. Carrion worms spawn to the sides of the bridge. They cast a frontal on the tank, so face them away from the group and dodge the frontal, or you get knocked off into the water. If you do end up going for a swim, you need to go to one of the water spouts on either side of the platform and fly back up. There's also a patrol of bats in this area. They cast Plague Spit on random targets, and this can be very deadly, so AoE stops are powerful here. The next boss is Bonemaw. He has the same frontal that the trash mob worms had, just bigger, so make sure to avoid it. He also casts Necrotic Pitch on a random ranged player. Make sure they are positioned close to the boss so that when his next ability, Inhale, comes out, you can actually stand within melee range without getting eaten by the boss. You can continue to DPS. This really helps out the melee, so ranged, be nice to your melee here. If you do get eaten by the boss, you get teleported into the water, and you can again hop over to the water spout to jump back up. When the boss gets low, he summons the two trash mob worms that you fought on the bridge. They cast Body Slam at the same time as the boss, so there's much more area that you need to dodge. Kill the small worms, then the boss. You only need to tank the boss, so let the DPS handle the two worm adds.
The last trash pack is 2 Void Spawns. These do a big AoE burst called Void Pulse. Defenses are great here if you're going to eat the damage, but you can also pull them back to the entrance door and line of sight the cast. As the tank, don't try to LOS and just use a defensive if needed to survive the magic damage. This is also a possible lust spot. The last boss is Ner'Zhul. He does a frontal at a random target. He also summons a line of skeletons that have a void zone trailing them. Focus one of the skeletons and kill it. Once it's dead, the void zone behind it will disappear and you can run past them. Make sure you avoid the frontal when you are running through the void wall. These abilities will overlap. You can also use a Warlock Gateway to skip over every other wall if you have one in your group. Thanks for watching and good luck pushing keys.